So I just built this CNC router machine, and I just wanted to go over what it is, what I did on it. I learned almost everything that I did on YouTube, and so I figured I just gonna do a video, kind of give back and see if I can help anybody else that's trying to go along this same adventure of building a CNC router. So I'll just kind of go over what I used on everything. I built a base for it just because I wanted it to be mobile. It is on wheels. It's just really simple, just 2x4s, 4x4s, all that kind of thing. That's whatever, but the most significant part about probably the base is I did put a clamp right here. This is just so that I can clamp up pieces right here in order to do vertical work, especially like joinery on the on the top of a board. I did use this a lot. I just made a crib, and it actually had 92 tenons in it, and I cut all of the tenons using this right here and just clamped it in and had the CNC cut the tenons out. So that's kind of it with and then over here on this, everywhere else I did put doors just for access. I have some hose down there. I got a 25-foot hose from Home Depot. It was like 27 bucks. That's for the dust shoe. So I just kind of store that down there. I did do a drawer right here, just for router bits and things. The tools for the router itself. Still got a few limit switches and stuff I haven't put on yet. And yeah, just mostly tools, clamps. I just built clamps and things like that. And the computer, everything is down here in the bottom. And that's where I've got the computer. I went with the Xylotex controller box. Dave Gatton recommends that. I did buy another controller box and immediately regretted it when I couldn't get to work, just a Chinese cheap one. I do recommend just go ahead and spend the extra money. After limit switches and everything, this is a the 4-axis kit that they got, 425 ounces per square inch, or not per square inch, but 425 ounce motors, and everything after, it was like $460 after shipping and all that, so I recommend doing that. Yeah, so that's it with the base. The table itself, I built the first thing is this is a vacuum table, so these are all, you can switch these on and off, and they turn on and off, the air getting sucked down through 5 different slats here. Inside is vacuum tight. I did polyurethane, several coats of it, and then did a coating of just stuff in the cracks. Filled it up with silicone in order to make it vacuum tight, so that it'll suck the material down to the table. I have yet to do that. I just got this done like 2 weeks ago, but it's ready to do that, and that'll hook up right there, and you can turn on and off whatever you want. As far as linear guides go, the ruler actually is the linear guide. So the V-groove bearings, they look like this up here. You can get those pretty cheap, and they work really well. I got a lot of 16 for like 32 bucks on eBay, and they work awesome. Don't go for super expensive ones, no point. And so yeah, I'm just using a ruler. It's actually straighter and cheaper than if you were to get aluminum just from the store, and it works really great, and it's kind of convenient because you can mess around with when you're first building it and seeing how far it goes and make sure you're dialed into the right how far it goes and everything. But I put my lead screws down under here. It was a little bit more difficult to build that way, I feel like, but that is one of the best things that I've decided that I did, because it has saved so much dust from going down there. I do use the dust shoe whenever I'm cutting something flat, but like when I was cutting all those tenons for the crib that I just built, there's no way you can use the dust shoe, and so stuff goes everywhere, whether you're holding a vacuum or not. but these stayed complete. I've never cleaned those, and so I do recommend, instead of having it out here to the side like several do, several will have a lead screw right here on both sides out here, putting it under there has really helped. So that's the x-axis. This is just all made out of plywood. I did get a kind of a higher end plywood. I didn't go to Lowe's and buy it. I spent more like $80 a sheet on it, which I recommend, trying to keep it flatter and things. The y-axis, all of that is running on just aluminum rail. I just got that from the hardware store. It's just 3/4 aluminum, and just screwed it down into the plywood there, and that works really well. I housed the lead screw inside here. I put some plexiglass over that so you can still see in there, but yet it's keeps it clean from getting the stuff all over it. Z-axis, same type of thing. The lead screw, I didn't house this one at all, except for in this box, but as it goes lower, it exposes some of it, but that's not a big deal at all. DeWalt, I went with the full-size router. If you're doing a CNC like this with 425-ounce motors, you're not gonna have any problem lifting up a full-size router. The trim router, I just feel like there's some stuff it's not gonna be able to do as well. The dust shoe build, again, I used some plexiglass in here. I picked up some brooms from Harbor Freight and actually just glued those, cut out a notch with a Dremel, and used silicone to put those in there, and it works really well. At first it was too stiff, so I had to kind of bend them out. But yeah, I cut out a lot of them so that it's easier. You don't want this pressing down and putting a lot of pressure upward. The vacuum actually clicks in here. This something took me quite a while, but I have a fixture on the vacuum hose that goes to a shop vac that actually clicks right into this, and so you can take it on and off. I actually run that. I recommend if you're in a garage, just throw it over the thing up there, and then go back down to the shop vac. Like I said, I have a 25-foot hose. It easily does it, and it really cleans things up if you're doing some flat pieces there. This top right here is the sacrifice board, and so the 3/4 is the one that's actually silicone down to seal the table off, and then there's just a sacrificial board up on top of it. The first thing I did when I did the machine is cut all these holes. There's 375 of them, and cut it all the way through both, so that for the vacuum table, and then before I silicone down that plywood piece, I did threaded inserts, just 1/4 inch threaded inserts on that in every single hole. So everywhere I can do one of these clamps, and I just built some really simple clamps with like 3.5 inch screws or bolts. It's kind of far in there, but yeah, just something simple like this that goes into a clamp like that. Didn't take long to build, but they work really well, and I can use them anywhere, and they've done awesome that way. Drag chains, I've seen people do it without drag chains, but they're cheap. I bought both of these drag chains for like $18 with Prime shipping, and they've been awesome. It just, all your cords go away in like 30 minutes of putting them in. And so the Xylotex kit, you can order them with specific sizes of wires, and I recommend that. Measure your machine, how far it is, how far the cables will need to go, and have them custom cut so that you don't have a whole bunch of extra wire laying around. This machine is, it has 36 inches, so 3 feet, and then it does go 24 inches across. The cutter actually will go to the very edge of this table, which is nice. That way. I just built these knobs. They're nice. It's nice to have knobs on there in order to do small adjustments or zero your Z-axis, whatever. This is what the vacuum goes into, and then that just goes over it one of the notches in the vacuum to hold it there. So it comes here, goes there, and then up and over. I don't know what's going on with this right now. Something weird's going on with the computer, or I would show you and jog it around. Oh, there, maybe it's starting up. The e-stop button, I haven't wired it yet. I recommend getting one, although I did crash the machine the first day I was actually using it. I didn't understand Mach 3, and I did refer all home, and then I hit go to home, and it went backwards, and yeah, I really wish I would have had an e-stop button. But yeah, I'm gonna do limit switches one day to make it stop on the way back or whatever if it gets too far. But not yet. So for some reason the mouse is not working on the computer right now. I don't know, something's wrong with this mouse. I need to plug it back in again or something. But anyway, it jogs around like a normal CNC. It cuts really well. And one last thing I wanted to show here is I did want it to be kind of all inclusive here, so I have it to where you can, if I can get it to go, pull these little tabs out there. Then this just lowers down like that, down to the bottom, and then the screen, everything just goes in like that. I guess if you were doing a long enough cut, you could do that while it's doing the cut to kind of keep the screen away from getting messy or whatever. I haven't done that, but I just wanted it to go away so then you can wheel it into a corner and get rid of it that way. So the whole machine, the motor kit cost about $465. All the wood and supplies cost another $500 probably. And then the router, $140, and then the computer's just an old computer we had with a parallel port. So overall, if you don't count the computer, I'm right around between $1,000 and $1,100 after hardware and all sorts of stuff. I just kind of built it a little bit over time. One more thing I was going to say, the pitch on the lead screws was something that took me a long time to figure out what I wanted. This is a 10 start, I think they call it. Whatever it is, it's 10 turns for 1 inch of travel on the Z-axis. And I recommend doing that on the Z-axis just because it will be able to lift more that way. And then all the rest of them, the ones on the X-axis and also the ones on the Z-axis or the Y-axis, are all 2 starts. So I guess the other ones would have been 5 start. These are 2 start, I believe. Whatever it is, it's 2 turns, 2 revolutions, moves it 1 inch, and that's really nice because then it can whip around and move fast. I have it running at about 243 inches per minute, and on the Y and X axis, and about 42 inches per minute on the Z axis. So I'm moving tomorrow, so I'm not going to be able to do the machine anymore. I'm going to put a tarp over it for a couple years while I go to school. But if you have any questions at all, just message here. I'll put my email on the comment section. You're welcome to email me. I'll give you my number. You can call me and ask me. I'm not an expert on it at all, but it took me a long time to figure this stuff out. So just let me know if you have any questions about anything, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. Thanks. See ya.